Hello, guys. Welcome to BA Fridays here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. It is Friday, the 18th of October, 2024. It's been a big week. Trade period has come, trade period has gone. There's a few list management decisions still to be made for us and for a lot of clubs. And we're going to recap everything that's happened this week from a Carlton point of view. I've also got some special guests from other clubs, other fan channels lined up. We're going to get their perspective because I think it's important to get a perspective outside of the Carlton one because we get ourselves way too caught up in our own bubble, and should be a bit of fun. I've got Jake from Saints TV coming on shortly. He's in the waiting room. Got Anthony from Pies Footy coming on to chat about the Collingwood perspective. Maybe we'll chat about Dan Houston when he gets in. And then there's a few things that happened on the Carlton end that we haven't watched. We haven't even watched the Elijah Hollands season review, so we'll get through that. And then we'll just chat amongst ourselves. So I'm going to bring in Jake straight away because he's got to go soon. And he's here. Hello, mate.
Hey, mate. Thanks for having me on. It's good to be
You
here.
ever been on a live stream with me, like just on this channel?
I reckon the last time was that 2019 when we previewed the Saints Carlton game. So outside of like a match preview, this would be the first time ever. So it's an honor. It's good to be here.
Our cameras are better. There's no grainy 360p footage going out. We've come a long way.
Yes, that's true. It's but that had its time. You know what I mean? Back then, that was what the cool kids were doing. The 360p. But yeah, no, you'd be pretty stoked with what Carlton did in the last 2 weeks.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I did not picture pick 3 even being a possibility at the start of it. I thought Dan Houston was not as much of a priority as what it was made out to be. But at the same time, I mean, you know, when you're a creator and you've got a channel, you're just following the news, you kind of get sucked into where the news and the rumors are flowing, and, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire generally. So I think we did okay. I think it was good. I would have been really sad to see Brody Kemp leave in the end.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So
Brody
did you
Kemp,
see that coming? Was that on your radar?
No, I didn't. I didn't actually. I know. That kind of happened the last 48 hours, I guess, of the trade period and deadline day. That was kind of an interesting one, but I kind of had a feeling it wouldn't happen because he's still contracted. It was so late in the piece, so I feel like we didn't have enough collateral anyway. And I think we offered, I think it was a future second, but I know Carlton wanted picks in this year's draft, but we weren't willing to give up what we had. It wasn't going to be 7 or 8, obviously, and it wasn't going to be, what's the next one? We've got 32 and 47. I thought maybe 47 for Kemp, but I don't think Carlton would have agreed that at all. Because we used up 45 for McRae in the end, which was pretty funny because the Dogs, they wanted something better than that for pretty much the whole trade period. And in the end, we just kind of stuck at it and got the player for the price that we wanted. So that was good.
So yeah, so give me the summary of the St Kilda trade period from your lens, like high level.
Yeah. I would say it was a success. I would have liked to have gotten a ruck. That would have been nice because we delisted Tom Campbell, and I know Ivan Soldo was kind of rumoured, and we looked like getting him, and then we kind of backflipped on that and said, no, we don't want to go with that. And to be honest, it's probably a good call, I think. Probably culturally, it doesn't look like the right fit. So a bit of maturity from us this year. You know, we got 8 and we didn't think to really flaunt that too much. I thought maybe we were going to try and work our way up to 3 or 2, kind of like what Carlton did, but that would have meant sacrificing 7 or 8, and I don't think we wanted to do that at all. So to get McRae for 45, pick 8 was luck. It's not like we worked for it. We lost battle. We lost a very good player. We're in a pretty good position, and I think we probably will try to work up to 2. Try and get to Norths too, because I know they might still want to split that. But but I think rumor has it Richmond might actually get it because they don't have
Wow.
enough picks already. So
I wasn't aware that the Saints were in the running for that. Because I was going to ask you, like, what do you need? What's at the top of the list with pick 7 and 8?
pick 7 and 8. I mean, I think seven's, to be honest, I think seven's one of the most interesting picks in the draft. I think it's actually one of the more important ones in the top 10 because, you've got the academy, the academy bids are going to come in. So that'll take 2 picks there in the first 5. And then, North might take it. If they don't give away 2, they might actually take a tall. So there might be, there's how many mids have been rumored to go top 5 that are actually going to go outside the top 5? I reckon there's 5 or 6 of them that have kind of come out of nowhere. Even he's not a mid, but is it Taru? Everyone's talking about him and how North might take him. So that means if they're not taking a mid, there might actually be another mid that falls to us, and that could be, is it Smiley or is it Smiley? Is that how you
Josh
pronounce
Smiley?
it? I think that was one that people quite like the look of just because of the sheer size of the kid. Like, he's enormous. So yeah, there's a couple there, but I think we're just going to take best available from that point on. So if we are worried, that's, I think Carlton might actually take a. Who are Carlton going to take at 3? Do you think?
Great debate. So
yeah.
I believe we need to try and get a goal-kicking midfielder with a bit of zip about him.
So is that Draper?
I love Draper. There's talks about Lawler. There's talks about Finn O'Sullivan. If he gets there, if Richmond don't take Jagger Smith, there's talks about him. But someone that's got that, zip. It's kind of like, to be honest with you, it's like we need Dow, but what we thought Dow would be for us,
Yeah. I think Lawler was one that stood out to me. Draper, obviously, but if we stay at 7, I don't think either of them get to us. It'd be amazing if one of them did, but I don't think that's going to happen. And if we're really desperate for one particular player, then we would try and move to 2, but I just don't think, I think North will work with Richmond on that. So overall, pretty handy. I hate the trade period overall, though. If we're going to talk about it generally, I think it takes too long. Like, day 1, a couple of deals went through, and then for about 12 days, nothing happened or whatever. And then the last 48 hours, that's like 7:18 p.m. hits, and they all suddenly come through last minute. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Jeremy Cameron 2 years ago was on 7:29. He went through, right? I knew Bailey Smith was going to be one of the last ones to go through. Even though, to be honest, was it that difficult? It was, what did they give up for him? 17 and 35 or 17 and 38? It was nothing in the end.
4-team. Now, I don't know if it really was a 4-team deal or if they just needed to put some drama on the top of it. But apparently that one actually did go down to the wire and they were posturing with each other and then they just caved. But I don't know.
They had cameras on Mackie the whole time, and he's just sitting there looking like he was bored, like, me at work sometimes, like, I don't have much to do. All the work's done, but I'll just pretend I'm on my phone and stuff. Like, imagine if all these deals got done in the first week. What happens then?
Yeah. I have never gotten into the trade period circus like I did this year. I don't know about you. I've never seen appetite for off-season content like what I did this year, especially in the trade period.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because people just want to be entertained because there's no games, or if there's been like a shift between getting their information from mainstream compared to like their fan channels. But I don't know about you with Saints TV, because you've been pretty consistent in doing the trade period stuff, probably way more than what I have. This is the first year I really went deep into like every little bit of breaking news to cover the story, but I've not seen an appetite like this year.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just... It feels like there's more journos across this too. Like, there's just more information being filtered out. Some of it obviously is not true, but most of it, there's legs to it. So I think having that access, has enhanced people's interest in it, because even I can think of when I first started doing it a couple of years ago, there wasn't much. Like it was very much just my opinion and who I think we should get and this and that. Whereas this was like Zach Merritt at 9 p.m. There's some rumors about us on that video. There's, Ivan Solo. There's Jack McRae nominating us, and they're all doing it so early in the piece that just, and it just keeps happening. And I mean, it's good for us, like, and it's good for the viewers. There's content, there's interest. I don't know how strategic it is. Like, is it the AFL like filtering like just letting a few things come through the cracks for content? I mean, the whole trade period on their end is content, right? Like, listen to the trade radio. For most of the time, they're not really talking about the actual deals taking place. At one point, I think Cal Toomey was talking about getting Oasis tickets for like 20 minutes. I'm like, this is the extent of the trade period right now. And this was like, the final week. And I'm like, isn't this when things should be heating up?
It's a good point, because I think for us, so we will create videos which are, I don't know, 7 to 10 to 15 minutes long. And you come and you get that fix on that story, and it's it. You watch your 10-minute video or whatever it is, and that's it. Whereas if you're tuning into trade radio all day for 6 hours, 7 hours, it's very diluted. So I guess if you want like that recap of, okay, what's the update, without listening to an ad every 60 seconds, I guess that's what we're here for now. Maybe we've finally found our place in this world, mate.
What, just grabbing the long-winded stories from the AFL and condensing them into little bite-sized pizzas? Yeah. Just making it digestible for the viewers at home and the listeners. Absolutely. Because most of the time, like, at least when I was listening to trade radio, because I was silly enough to do it because I thought, I'll tune in and something will happen. But really, they're just repeating the same thing. And it's, this pick's going to go here. Oh, but this one's going to go there. And then they go for an hour, and then they talk about that same thing again. And then another hour passes by, they get a guest, they talk about that same thing. And it's like, you've taken one piece of news, but you've stretched it for 6 hours, Yeah. So I don't know if they will revise that. I don't mind I think the duration of the trade period isn't bad, but I think it's driving everyone mad how little happens in between, like particularly because of the media. There's just not anything to, like, we want to see big deals. It's a bit selfish on our end as fans. We want to see deals. We want to see players leaving. We want to see our clubs doing stuff, but sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Do you think with the introduction of future trading future picks 2 years in advance that it's going to blow up even more?
Yeah.
I'm actually excited for it.
And I'm pumped for it. This time next year, I reckon we're going to be one of the heavy hitters. If we have a good year just on field and make finals, I'm not saying we're going to win the flag, but I'm saying just perform well, be a respected club on the field and a tough opponent. We've got the money, everyone knows. And I think that's us being like, I think us going for merit and talking about money and this and that, and Merit saying, it was life-changing money, is kind of just a way for us to put out there that we have funds, we have tools, we can get these big names. And LDU supposedly delayed his contract, so that's going to be the big talking point for pretty much all of 2025 is him.
Wow.
Because he's our number one target for sure.
I said this to you in a text, was it yesterday or the day before? I'm telling you, one of the best acquisitions you've made is Brendan Bolton as an assistant. I genuinely believe that. Like, as a head coach, didn't quite work out for us very early in the team's group. Maybe he'll go and do it again in the future. But as an assistant, like, really, really high quality assistant, highly regarded.
Yeah, I'm wondering exactly where he fits in. I know Goddard is the VFL coach now, which is cool. So he was originally, I believe, the midfield coach. So I don't know if that means Bolton will be in that capacity at any point. I don't know. Is he played footy, didn't he? He was a AFL
Brendan?
player?
No. He was one of the... Yeah, he's like, that's part of his unique point is that he didn't.
Right. Either way, that's awesome to have him on board. I mean, I told you over the text, I didn't really know that much. Like, I kind of always thought that Carlton fans didn't like him. I don't know why. I mean, I kind of just assumed that he didn't have much success with him, so maybe he wasn't great. But seeing all the Collingwood people kind of be a bit upset that he was leaving, that kind of shed a bit more light that, okay, maybe he was pretty good. And he was there for
Yeah.
their flag and worked with Lepich, and they kind of rumoured that there was a bit of a tiff, but yeah.
Yeah.
Happy with that.
So if you're forecasting, you did say you got the war chest. Who do you think? I mean, it's so early to guess and predict, but who do you think is in the realm of a couple of names that you can land? I mean, LDU is clearly going to be one that's a popular name. Is there anyone else?
LDU, Leek Lear would be one that absolutely we would go for again, unless he signs a monster contract. I know Andy Brayshaw was another, but rumour has that he might sign a contract with Freo, and why wouldn't you? They're in a good spot. Getting Bolton, good coach, good young kids, so that would be one. Who else is the other? Andy Brayshaw, LDU. There was a third that I remember
Tom de
talking
Koning?
about.
You and I did a deal for Tom
he's-
de Koning a few years ago.
Yeah, now that deal would actually be that would have legs now, wasn't it? Didn't you say he'd be worth like top 10 pick?
I think I said a first round. I think you offered a first round. Wait, what did we do? I think you said Tom de Koning for a first round pick.
Yeah,
or two first round picks.
Yeah, which you would probably entertain now, wouldn't you?
I think I entertained it 2 years ago. Right now, nah, he's him. I didn't think he would be this.
So just
level with him.
hypothetically, just because we're on a Carlton channel, let's just hypothesize. If we came to you and said he's picked 7 and 8 in this year's draft, and you already had 3, would you have 3 in the top 10 and give us him? In this year's draft, you would be able to do whatever you wanted in this year's draft with 3 in the top 10 as a finals premiership chance. That's unheard of. Would you give him him? Would you?
I would not. I would not.
You would not. You okay? That's fair enough.
I would not. I think we're going to get a good kid at 3 as it is.
Yeah.
De Koning, I think is. I hate overhyping players because it's burnt me so many times, but I really do think he is part of this next wave of what the future ruck looks like, and I think he's going to be one of the better ones in the league.
Okay, now we'll flip it. Who's a player at St Kilda that you and like realistically, like with what you had at your disposal to offer?
Sorry, say that again. You just cut out when you asked the question.
Let's flip it. So if there was a Sainter to bring across to the Blues, realistically, who would that have been? If you heard that on the news, you're like, oh, that's actually not bad. You can pick the main stars, but maybe there's a left field one. You're like, oh, that could work. Like, what are you needing exactly? Like, what's a player that?
Oh, mate, you give me Wanganeen Millera, and
I was going to say
Wanganeen Millera. Definitely.
Because if you're linked to Houston, you might as well get Naz.
Yeah. Who else from the Saints? Who do I really rate? I think Wanganeen Millera is like him, like so good. I mean, the idea of Cal Wilkie next to Jacob Wiedering would be insane, I would say. And then, who's your half forward? Do you have like a elite half forward?
Our half forward line is like Liam Henry, was Membry, Sharman, Caminiti. Who else plays a half forward? Mateus sometimes.
Mateus, yeah.
Darcy Wilson plays off half forward flank. Yeah. Okay, there's a couple there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think both our clubs would be pretty happy with where they're at. Obviously, it's interesting trade. Like, if you don't know where clubs are at, like internally with what they think their goals are for the near future, the trade period tells you. Because you play all your cards. So, Richmond's in full rebuild mode. There's no question. They're not looking at winning. They're looking at just blooding kids now. They don't care if they get pants next year and the year after, because they know in 3 or 4 years' time, these kids are going to have 50 games under their belts. They're going to be back. Carlton was the interesting one because people were like, but they're contending, but why do they want to get pick 3? Because, that was the only one that really didn't fit the narrative. It's like, if Carlton were contending, they should have got Barras. Why didn't they? So that's what people were saying. But it's just interesting when you go through preseason predictions and you're like, this club's in the premiership window, this club isn't. Look at this last 2 weeks and you'll know. Collingwood, look at Collingwood. Topping up, getting Membry now probably. Houston. So they're not going young. They're going for, we need to win it again now, which is interesting.
Well, to have pick 3 and be, I would say we are, I think we're a good team, a solid team to have. I mean, I'm so used to having a top 10, top 5 pick when we're shit. So to have a pick 3 when we're arguably contending or in the window, this is new for me. I've never experienced this. So I don't know. It seems good on the surface, but we'll see what happens.
I am curious though from your end. Is it like pick 3 is fantastic and you're going to get a great player with that, yeah? But are people forgetting that they're more draft picks now are having immediate impacts at their clubs more so than usual. But is it kind of like, all right, let's just get the pick right and not put that much pressure on the kid? Like, because people are saying, Carlton are good, but getting pick 3 means, they're going to be challenging for the flag next year. It's like, I feel like you could challenge without 3. 3's not the solution. Do you know what I mean? It's just really good.
We really got exposed in the midfield for its lack of pace and its lack of dynamic presence. Kennedy, Hewitt, Cripps, they're big-bodied midfielders. Walsh now is more of a contested player than ever in his career. So I don't know if that's going to go back to what it was prior to his back surgery. And I don't know if this is just Sam Walsh. We clearly lack what some of these other clubs have in their midfield, and that's just someone who can move laterally, someone who can just create, but more importantly, kick goals from the midfield, which is so rare. So I don't think this kid comes in and we put the world of expectation on him other than just to add some polish. But we'll see, because there's always pressure when it comes to Carlton, because we all on this side, we're screaming for flags every year, whether we are there or not,
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you go. Thanks for joining. And
no, that's all right. Thanks for having me on for the second time in 6-7 years.
We'll do this again.
Yeah, it feels like footy abroad again. It's nice.
It does.
Just need to get Swoop wherever he is in Amsterdam or
he's Swoop abroad. I do need to get Swoop.
Yeah, I mean, chat Houston with Swoop and see what happens.
I am interested to see what he has to say about that.
Yeah,
it was a bit of a content war with the Houston stuff. Man, I had jumper swaps done. I had so many Carlton jerseys on Dan Houston.
Did he look good in one? He looked good in one?
Mate, they always look good in navy blue.
They always look good, yeah. Yeah. Nah, awesome, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Have a good weekend.
Yep, you too. Go Saints. See you guys.
See ya. So that was Jake. Good chat. Pick 7 and 8. They did well. I mean, getting pick 8 in that deal for, what was it, for Josh Battle, they'd be wrapped with that. I think anyone that's in the top 10 of this draft is happy. I was not aware that pick 2 might be on the cards for them. Not aware at all. Actually, I want to ask you guys via a poll. I was in the studio. I was in SEN Studios today with Paul Sebastiani and Nick Negropontis and Paul Barbaza as well. And one of the boys asked a question during the show about, it was a hypothetical, and it was, if we had a chance to get pick, I think 6 and 10 from Richmond, so they could have pick 1 and 3 or 1 and 2, whatever it was. Would you do it? Would you split pick 3? I'm going to ask you, would you split pick 3? I just want to get a pulse on it. I said no. I said, nah, keep 3. Pommy, hello, mate. Cannot believe Jake gave us nothing if he was going on his date. Hello, Ross. The difference between us and Collingwood, Collingwood are still trying to win another flag. We're thinking this list is going to fail like the one with Mark Murphy, Kate Simpson, etc. Interesting. We're not playing for the now. I think we are. I certainly think we are. Our window is closing. I think our window just opened last year, personally. So what have we got? 77% of you. In the meantime, I'll let this one simmer for a bit. Let's just get a quick recap of what Nick Austin had to say after trade period.
Here on the final day of the Continental Tires trade period for 2024. Nick, one deal done for the Blues today. Matthew Kennedy becomes the Western Bulldog. Talk us through how the deal went down.
Yeah, look, Matty came to us at the end of the year and he expressed a desire to play more midfield time. He obviously played a variety of roles across the field for us this season due to a number of injuries as well and positional flexibility. So, yeah, he wanted to play full-time midfield and the opportunity at the Bulldogs arose to do that. So, in good faith, we were able to get that trade done, and in return, we get a second-round pick, which strengthens our hand going into the draft.
The deal that didn't get done was Brodie Kemp, a bit of interest that was reported from St Kilda, but Brodie still remains a Blue for 2025. And talk us through how that went down, retaining Brodie for the next season.
Yeah, he does. And look, that was the desired outcome, really. I mean, Brodie, it came up pretty late, to be fair. Last 24, 48 hours, it sort of came up that it was a possibility. Brodie's a really important player. He's 23 years old. He provides flexibility at both ends of the field. And it was going to take something pretty significant to come our way for us to consider it. And that didn't happen. So we're delighted for Brodie to still be part of our footy club as his contracted player going into 2025.
That was today. Obviously, I guess the big deal for the club during the trade period was that which went down on day 7 and acquiring pick number 3 in this year's draft. The club's highest picks in Sam Walsh in 2018. You mentioned at the start of this period that the focus was on the draft. Do you feel like the club managed to achieve that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for us to go in with picks 12 and 34 and walk away with a pick in the top 3 of this year's draft, it's a terrific result. And we'll be able to add a significant part of our future. It's a really strong draft. We've declared that from the beginning, and to be participating at the pointy end is really exciting.
In that deal, Matthew always also went to West Coast.
He did. Look, Matty, yeah, he's given great service to our footy club, and he's done such a wonderful job. Again, the opportunity for him to get some security, which he has at the Eagles with a 3-year deal, which is really important to him. Again, it's a great opportunity for Matt. We thank him all the best for his contribution to the footy club and wish him all the best at the Eagles. And being part of that deal allowed us to get up to 3. So, we feel like it was a really good result for both.
It was a mad rush to the end. What are the next few weeks look like before we're back here for the draft next month?
Yeah, we'll take stock now. We've still got a little bit of work to do on the draft, and clearly it's going to be exciting to watch the best of the best and work our way through that and get our final draft order. And it's a really exciting time for our club. So we look forward to it.
Thanks, Nick.
Cheers.
Love it. So for those of you watching from a Carlton point of view, how do you summarize our trade period in a paragraph? Black and White United. Andreas, is this you? As a Pies man, not going to lie, your insights are really good. I enjoy listening to you speak. I do think the Blues will be right up there in 25. You just need a peak at the right time. Thank you, mate. If there are opposition fans / fan channels watching, please send a message in the live chat or click the link and join in. I want to hear from you. I want to get insights from, anyone. To be fair, anyone can call in. The link is there in the live chat. But yeah. Oh, was that not Ross Simons? I wasn't aware. Trust in Austin. Hello, Petra. The high draft picks came into a toxic club culture with poor development programs and not many strong leadership role models. Some exceptions like Walsh, who is self-driven, champion class. Yeah, it's a good point. Seen a bit of chatter around, we've got pick 3. I hope we don't, pick another Dow or a Petrevsky-Seaton, which you can understand where the thought comes from because we have got it wrong so many times. But like we said earlier today, I in my time as a supporter, I don't remember having a top 5 pick in a team that played finals. And it's always been a top 5 pick or a top 10 pick in a team that finished in the bottom 4. So this is, in theory, it sounds great because we've got senior players ahead of this pick who will come in, who will naturally be highly touted and highly regarded. But all of a sudden you've got Cripps, Walsh, Charlie, Harry, Jacob, with a plethora of other senior players around him who will do the heavy lifting. When Dow came into the club and Lockie O'Brien, it was almost like, here's the club, here's the Carlton Football Club. You know, you're going to be the future. And I do wonder if that hurt their development, you know? So it's a good shout, Damien. You trust Austin. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. I don't trust many people in this world, but Nick Austin is one of them. Can't tonight. Got a screaming 1-year-old hanging off me. All right. Sounds good. Well, I've got a screaming magpie about to join me. His name's Anthony. Hello, Pies Footy.
Terry, how are we doing, mate? Thanks for having me.
Happy birthday.
Getting older, man. Getting on.
Getting wise.
I know. I feel like I've aged maybe 10 years over the last 10 days, though. I can't lie.
Tell me about it. Well, wait, how young did you turn yesterday?
I'm 27 now, so it's an odd number.
Mate, that's the penny drop age.
I feel like the penny dropped a few times in my life, but maybe this is the one.
No, it's good. It's good. Yeah. Give me your reflection on trade period. How was that? That was your first.
Well, if I had things my way, Terry, I wouldn't be creating content in this period. I'd just turn off the phone, turn off the Twitter, and just kindly wake up when this is all said and done and know what's happened after the fact. But we live in the world of content creation, and we've got to stay up to date. And it was a whirlwind of emotions, and I'm sure it would have been the same for you at some point. At one point, you guys would have thought you were getting Dan Houston, and then although Nick Austin did allude to that, the fact that you guys were pretty keen on going to draft. So I think you guys just stood true to what you wanted at the end of the day. And maybe Collingwood didn't really know what they wanted until Fly came out and said, hey, yeah, he famously quoted, we want players, not picks.
It was bizarre. It was, to be honest, it was batshit crazy. So my recollection of the last 2 weeks has been murmurs that Houston wanted to come to Carlton, which I think when Ben Silvani tweeted that he did after it was all said and done, maybe they were true. But Houston potentially interested in Carlton, but not nominating. So he just says Victoria. So all the attention sort of focuses in on Dan Houston. Then Collingwood's in the race. And then all of a sudden they're ahead because they've got the best deal for pick 13, and everything was just all about pick 13. And then we get pick 14 after the Barris deal falls through. So there's like this side plot that emerges. And then we've got 12 and 14, and we're like, oh, hang on, Houston's back on because we now have the upper hand. And then I think the pick for the deal for 13 was rejected maybe once from the Suns. It was because there was like pick 23 involved. So there's this whole back and forth. It was on, it was off, it was on, it was off. And then bang, we get pick 3, and then it was off, but maybe it wasn't. And then we get the pick 3. And then I think once that happened, it was pretty clear that we weren't going to get him. And then you guys went through this like weird couple of days where the same deal that ended up going through got rejected a few nights before. I don't know. It was a whirlwind. It was, I don't know. I embraced it. I thought it was fun, and it was great for content.
Yeah, it was funny. At some point in the last few weeks, maybe 3-4 weeks, we were talking John Noble for a first rounder, and it just goes to show how much we don't know, because by the time the negotiations came into play, Noble was never going for a first rounder. He effectively went for pick 29, and we swapped our future with 13, if you want to call it that, to get Houston. So that's what it ended up being. So I've learned a lot in that sense when it comes to trades. Even with Bailey Smith, everyone was talking, yeah, he's worth 2 first rounders. And then in the end, Geelong only had to offer pick 17 and some change to get him over the line.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. Crazy. So look, we got Pom to always refer to when it comes to stuff. And I never claim to be an expert in these times. And it is a strong learning curve.
What is the summary of Collingwood's trade period from your lens?
Well, I could say what everyone else is saying and say it's a win now priority, which it is to a certain extent. What is the main outcome of the trade period? I'd say it's a win first and foremost. It's a win. We didn't go as old as maybe people were making that sound. 25 and 27. What Perriman's 25, Houston's 27. We could have gotten older. Like we could have got Tom Barras if that was a possibility. We could have gone for Petrarca if 3 first-round picks were available. He's a little bit older as well. But overall, man, I just think it's a win. And look, at the end of the day, I saw you had Jake on just before, and if St Kilda had the opportunity to be in a win now premiership window when they haven't won a flag in how long, you'd probably take it. So that's what I'm trying to reciprocate to the Collingwood community is like if you have the chance, you can either go about it in a passive way or be really assertive with it. And we've gone with the aggressive / assertive way. And if we win a flag, and if we don't, we die in our sword, and that's fine. I'm okay with that.
What do you think? As in, like, what did you want? Not want, but like, what was your guess?
So I think with what was available in the market, I think we did the best we possibly could. Maybe going into it, I thought we were a shoe-in for Markeen, but he ends up signing a contract at Adelaide. I wanted to see the likes of a Peatling or a Davies from Gold Coast, that younger midfield type of group. And that was effectively it. And now instead we're going to have to, I guess, settle for someone like Tomlinson. I'm surprised. I mean, you guys are going, I've had talks with Denver Granger, Barras, and Pommy spoke to him at length. And then was Lewis Young out of contract? I know Marchbank was delisted, right?
Yeah, Marchbank was delisted. Lewis Young he's got one or 2 more years. He's still in contract.
He could look elsewhere, right?
He was told he could look elsewhere, but now it looks like that's done. There was no deal. No one really bit on that one.
Yeah. So in summary, Terry, I would say we did the best with what was available in the market, especially given our draft hand. We came into this without a first rounder for this year, and we made it work somehow. There's my alarm in case I didn't miss the show.
It's professionalism. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. What is your take on trade period as a whole, in the way it's run, in the way it goes? I feel that there is this sense of people can be frustrated with it, but at the same time, they make their frustrations known publicly by posting on social media, which in turn helps trade period be what it is because people are talking about it.
Yeah, it's long, but there's two sides to it. Like I said, it's great for content. It forces you to learn more about more than what just happens during the season. You learn bits and pieces of the business negotiations. If I was just a fan, I wouldn't pay much attention to it. But in being in this world, I would say it's just too hectic. And is it a bit of a show? I'm not too sure. I mean, there's ratings involved with the AFL. So is someone at the AFL nudging Bailey Smith's manager and saying, hey, let's delay this for as long as possible so we can get a deadline deal done so it does better for the ratings? What do you think?
I think a lot of the deals are agreed before the deadline. I think there are some that are genuinely pushed to the very brink, even though it becomes semantics. I thought it was fun. I think if you don't have fun with it, you will hate it really quickly. But like I said, I mean, people were saying, not everyone, but there were a lot of people who were repeatedly saying, oh, I hate trade period and I'm sick of it, but watching every video and almost like they were forced to watch it. Like someone was grabbing their finger and clicking on the videos or clicking on the articles. And I think we live in a world where it's just great to complain about something. It gives us something, to point the finger at. I don't know. I just embraced it. I thought it was fun, but also there was an appetite for it that I'd never seen. Like I'd never seen people here on the channel ever in, however many 5 years of the channel being alive on YouTube alone. I've never seen appetite for it like this year. So something happened this year, and I think we'll remember it as the turning point. But we'll see, because nothing's guaranteed, even though there's future picks next year, 2 years in advance. So I think it's going to elevate the whole show, but we'll see.
Wait for the mid-season trades to come into play as well, man. Like it's gonna be nuts.
True.
It's gonna be nuts. And hopefully those people who have recently found your channel stick around for the season, because I think a lot of your best work is in your live shows, the fan cams, the ratings with Pom. So hopefully they stick around and not just a fiend or a sucker for all these breaking news. But it's also funny, Terry, like I've noticed with some viewers on at Pies Footy, they call you every name under the sun, but they come back to watch every video and comment on it. It's like, oh, you're still here, but you just said I had no clue, and a spud and everything else in between 24 hours ago. That's odd.
Get used to that, mate. Yeah, get used to that.
I've just made frenemies with him. We're friends, but it's tense. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting because, I mean, look, like I said, before we know it, there's nothing to talk about for about 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. And then, maybe that's when it's appreciated. But no, it's been good. I think all the channels have had their moment. I think it's an important year in the story of it all. I wonder if we get a seat at the table next year at Marvel with all the other journos.
We'd have no intel, but we'll make something up, just like some of them have, or some of them do. But that's fine. That's fine.
How are you celebrating 27?
What I do? Well, I had dinner with my family, and I'm going to some Argentinian place called Asado in South Bank. I'm not sure if you've heard of that place, but so we'll do that. I think Pommy's in the chat. I recently just discarded everything on FIFA and uninstalled it because it's just taken too much out of me. So I'm currently in remission, not playing FIFA. So that's become hard, a hard pill to swallow for anyone who cares.
You've given up. You've thrown FIFA away. You've put it down.
It's like it's one of those things. It's the light bulb moment, man. I'm just spending too much time on it. So, and although I've been able to balance work and everything else, it's just it's something I don't need. But Terry, you asked me what I thought about Collingwood's trade period. What's your views from the outside looking in from another fan base perspective
of Collingwood's?
Yeah.
I think you definitely aligned with what your club wants and what your coach wants, which is he prefers players over picks, which you did. And I look at Collingwood and, you've got a very experienced list. A lot of guys, a lot of your best players are above 30. I know Nick Dacos is young. So he's, you don't compare Nick Dacos to anyone because he just sort of sits with himself. But you're in the window now. It's a win now club. And, whatever happens long term. You can always keep regenerating, getting more players. I don't think Collingwood or Carlton will have too many problems attracting players to their clubs in the future. So whether you just continue to keep going, I am curious about Collingwood and what happens when eventually Pendles retires, because I think similar to Selwood with Geelong, it's like, it's such a household name, and maybe it just becomes Dacos and then, you won't feel it, but can't help but feel that while Pendlebury's still playing footy, you just got to do everything you can to, contend.
What are your aspirations as a Carlton fan for 2025?
For the Blues?
Yeah.
Mate, win the flag.
Yeah. So top four is the starting point then, obviously.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got to get yourself in the top four. Everyone's going to say it who thinks they can win a flag. I was having the expectation that, getting to the top four this year. I'll have the same expectation next year. I think when you've got the forwards that we have, the midfield that we do, the defender, well, Jacob in particular, I mean, I I don't know. Maybe I'm overrating the list, but I just think we have everything we need to win.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what, Terry? I think what Collingwood and Carlton fans will share share a similar feeling from this year is the PTSD that Hawthorn gave us in both those beatdowns, because that still gives me nightmares when I go to bed at night.
That was a very dark day. Oh, mate, that sent me over the fucking edge. I reckon I'd like to think I did a pretty good job of holding my emotions for the majority of the year, more than any other year. But that day sent me over the edge, and I slipped up. I did things. I said things out of emotion. Yeah, that was a dog shit day.
It was a Sunday as well, so Sunday sads tied in with Hawthorn. That's no good.
Yeah, I think we had played Collingwood the week before as well, and McGovern had missed after the siren, so it was just
Right.
yeah, it was all happening.
Next year, man. There's always next year for us, for both of
What's
us.
what's the Pies footy perspective on what Carlton did?
I think what's apparent is, first and foremost, the injuries don't help. However, you guys obviously watched to a deeper level, but from what I saw, maybe there was something from a mentality approach that was sort of dwindling mid-season, and you could see it seeping in through the game, and that was quite obvious in a way. Can I put my finger? Can we put our finger down to what that is? Probably not. It's an intangible that we can't. That's what makes sport such a beautiful thing. There's the intangible that is the mentality aspect to it all, and if you don't have that down to a T, then you don't win. That's as simple as that. And I think that's ultimately was the downfall for Carlton this year before the injuries. Am I far off in saying that?
No, mate, the injuries for me are no excuse, because we had healthy players at a period of time where we could have just solidified that top 4 spot and locked it in, or at least, 5th or 6th. So there were games where we lost by a kick, twice against the Pies, the Crows. There were games where we were up and in control and lost. GWS, Bulldogs, Port Adelaide, and by the end, the last few rounds, it was awful with injuries, clearly. But damage got done before then, in my view.
It's crazy when you look back at the year, and once again, it's what makes sport such a beautiful thing. You go back to the start of the year, you guys come back from 45 points against Brisbane at the Gabba. Brisbane are 0-4. You guys are flying. And then we get to elimination final. And I mean, you guys, we know what happened. And they go on to win the flag. So it's just the turn of events. At least you guys can say we got knocked out by the premiership. Is there any solace in that, or not really?
Nah, not really. I wish I should stop talking about 2024. It fucking irritates me, man. It irritates me. I'm trying to move on,
I'm sorry.
But yeah, I appreciate you coming on, sharing your thoughts. Those of you, I don't know how many people are going to tune into Pies Footy from the Blue Abroad or the Carlton community, but if you want to watch some Pies Footy content, there's the link. Big year for you, big year coming up, big preseason coming up, and I'm sure we'll be in touch.
Thanks, Terry. You're a legend. Thanks for having me on, and hope you have a good night, guys. Take care.
See you, mate. All right. Oh, I've got another opposition fan channel coming, and I've got one of the great men, Johnny Holden. Let's talk to Marnie. Hello, Marnie.
Hi.
How you doing?
Yeah. Good. How are you?
Yeah, great. I did say we had opposition fan channels. You just started one yesterday.
I just started one, 48 hours ago?
Sorry, 2 days ago. Wait, today's Friday?
Today's Friday. I had coffee with a very wise friend of mine at 11 o'clock on Wednesday, and within the hour, I was at home making a logo for a YouTube channel that I thought I was going to start in Feb. And launched it half an hour after the trade period ended. So, I mean, I don't know if that was genius. I don't know if that was mad, but hey, we're here now and we're rolling with it. So, yeah, very,
Mate,
very exciting.
you cut the shit and you just started. Well done. It's
Just did
good.
it.
But I
Thank
mean, it's not
you.
like you've never done it. You've been on fan channels. You've been amongst it. You actually started doing this blogging stuff 2012, I think it was. So I think it just made sense.
Yeah, very, very long time ago. And I've been, in the space for over 10 years now doing all sorts of things. I started on my own, so I thought it was sort of full circle now to give it another shot. And, I'm full-time North supporter, part-time Carlton supporter. So hopefully you guys enjoy the content as much as I enjoy being here at BA.
Can I be honest about something?
Hit me.
Your first video has 565 views. Do you know how long it took me to get 500 views on a fucking video? It's so difficult, and you've just actually insane. Anyway, the Blue Abroad community knows you, so I'm sure they'll get around you. Guys, this is Kanga TV. Be one of the first couple of hundred. You got 127 subs in 48 hours. It's so sickening. Oh my God.
I'm very,
I'm
very
happy for you.
lucky.
I'm happy for you.
Thank
Trust me.
you.
It's
Thank
just-
you.
I see that first video and I'm like, yep, well, my first video I think had 11 views, 9 or 11 views. So, yep.
Look where you are now, Terry. Come on.
Yeah. No, it's worth it. So, hey, talk to me about North Melbourne and what they did in trade period. What's your view?
Yeah, interesting trade period from North. I'm pretty happy. I think North's obviously in a very different position to most of the other teams in the competition. I touched on it in my video that I put out earlier. That feels weird to say, but hey, here we are. I think, yes, we brought in leadership. We brought in 3 premiership players. They're all Australian players, and I think that's obviously really important. And that's been the commentary around North. But even weeks ago, Clarko came out and said we need experienced leaders and we need good leaders and we're going to go after them. And then Brady Rawlings, echoed what he said. And then clearly with the moves that we made, also we picked up Parker, we picked up Daniel, we picked up Darling, and then Constanti was thrown in as a bit of a sweetener. But for me, the most impressive thing, and this is, in my opinion, the most important thing coming out of trade period, not one North player put their hand up and said, I want to go. So the buy-in from the current list is really strong. And for me, it kind of affirms the direction that we're going in. It affirms that we've got the right people at the helm, from the coaches to the admin staff, and then obviously the players as well. Most of our players, our key players, re-signed during the season. Larky re-signed a massive deal. Simpkin, Sheasel, Zerha, Bailey Scott. I mean, all of these guys put pen to paper way before the season ended. So in my mind, that's actually what's most important, because 12 months ago, we had Ben Mackay leave and we had Todd Goldstein walk out the door. I mean, I never would have thought that would have happened in a million years. So that's actually, for me, the most important thing. And I'm really happy with the players that we brought through the door, but I think you've got to look at both sides. And that side hasn't been spoken about as much as the players that we brought in through the door.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's something I wish Carlton have done, or I wish that we had when we started our build. 2015 we hit the draft hard. Charlie, Harry, Jacob. A couple of years later we get Petrevsky, Seaton, but Fisher, De Koning, these types. And I think what we lacked, Dow and O'Brien, and what we lacked was that premiership experience to sort of show them the way and show them the standards. I mean, you got Jack Darling, who's about to play 300 games. I think Luke Parker's just brilliant. These are premiership stars and, captain material players. So, I don't think you worry too much about Clarko as a coach either. So, no, it's good. I was really impressed from the outside looking in. And then I guess my next question is pick 2 on the table?
It would have to be, because we only have pick 2 and pick 62 going into the draft. So that's all we've got. Yeah. So look, I mean, we've been to the draft for the past few seasons, and we picked up Sheasel, and we picked up Wardlaw, and we picked up Dersmer, and picked up McKercher, and then, you know, we've even later picks like Hardiman and Goad, and these guys are still developing, Dawson. But I think we should, considering how deep this draft is meant to be, and time's running out, because we have great kids, but time's running out. You know, Tassie's only a few years away, and we are very much in a situation where the next, arguably like the last couple of seasons, this season and maybe next season, those off seasons are probably going to shape our list moving forward, and that's sort of going to be what we're going to be working with to try and crack that fifth flag. So in my mind, I think pick 2 needs to be on the table. I think that having a chat with Richmond's probably the smartest decision for us at this point. If we could get pick 6 and 10 for pick 2, I'd be really, really happy. Pushing it with pick 11, I'd be eyeing off those 2 top 10 draft picks if I were North. It'd be pretty good, pretty special.
Well, Jake came on at the start of this, and I didn't know this, but he sort of said that this St Kilda might be looking at offering 7 and 8 for 2. So would you prefer?
That would be great.
What would you prefer, 6 and 10 or 7 and 8?
Oh, I think it's a much of muchness in this draft. Yeah, I think fair. 6 and 10 or 7 and 8. I think you're in a great position either way, to be honest.
Wow, that's a big story that I think will follow. I'd love you to trade pick 2, because I think if you trade pick 2, then I think Carlton will definitely have Sid Draper available at 3. I like him. I like him a lot. There's just a vibe, but I don't know anything
where
about
North can help Carlton, without it impacting us, I'm obviously all on board.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about one thing?
Yeah.
Quickly. I saw the photos of Matt Kennedy in a Bulldogs jumper, and I'm still recovering. Like, I'm still feel a bit unwell, if I'm honest.
I think he looks great in the Bulldogs Guernsey.
That's not what you're meant to say.
I think he does. I think he looks really good in a doggies Guernsey. Just let me see if I can get a photo up.
It just feels wrong.
Yeah, I know. I just maybe I'm getting old.
I have the toxic trait of having the emotional attachment to players.
Look, maybe I'm getting old, but like the whole sentiment and like, you know, it's just waning. Like more and more times I've seen players come and go, you know? So it's like, yeah, they're big Matt Kennedy. Oh, honestly, I wish him the best. I think he's a great pickup for them. Bit of depth in the inside midfield stocks. It's like he's been at the club long enough to lock himself into a spot, and it just didn't happen. So, yeah. And
you know what? He's got to do what's best for him. And I also, like, it's obviously hard to see from an emotional point of view, but in my mind, those are the tough calls you have to make to be able to move forward. I mean, Carlton just capitulated in the second half of the season. I mean, we both watched most of it unfold in front of our eyes week on week. And I just, you know, coming out of the MCG on the Friday night when Carlton absolutely just thrashed Geelong, the last thing I ever thought is that we'd be sitting here in this position, you know, however many months later. And so clearly the talent's there, and clearly the list is just about there to be able to go at it again. And those are the tough calls, I think, that you really, as sad as it is to see, and it, you know, takes some adjusting, but those are the calls you've got to make to be able to make a run for it.
If there's one thing, I mean, nothing's guaranteed, but if there's one thing I'm really sure of, it's that once this pick 3 is running around with his Guernsey and doing his thing, we're going to all fall in love hard with him. And it's just going to be, you know, one of those things that we not forget about, because I think anytime we play against Kennedy, there'll be love. I don't imagine him getting booed. I imagine.
You'd hope not.
I think when players leave, I think for the most part, I'm not speaking for fans, but I think for the most part, most fans would know that this really wasn't a case of Kennedy saying like "fuck you" to Carlton. It was more of a we kind of not pushed him out, but said, "Hey, what you want to do, where you want to play, we can't
accommodate you." Yeah.
So fair enough. I don't know. I think there'll be a level of love and respect for him, and I think there'll be something similar for Owies, but I think Kennedy more so. I mean, 99 games. That's the part that kind of hurts. That's stiff. Like 99 games is tough.
Yeah, I think so. And I think as well, if anything, it should really be, and again, it's probably a lesser factor for Owies, but seeing him in a Bulldogs jumper should actually really just motivate everyone, because no one's safe. I mean, he's a much loved player. He's a very serviceable player. He's better than serviceable. I mean, he'd get a spot in most sides, but just at Carlton, there's 4 or 5 players ahead of him in the role that he wants to play. And so for me, it sends a message to a guy like Chera, who had a pretty ordinary return, just as one example, that if you don't lift your game, that could be you.
Yeah.
And that drives standards in itself. It should drive standards for the right people who want to make the difference and who want to be there anyway.
Yeah. Well, there's 17 players out of contract next year. And I think it does two things. Number one, it shows an opportunity, particularly in the small forward area, maybe in defense as well, but it shows an opportunity to lock down a spot in a contract. But then also at the same time, it puts a bit of pressure on and says, hey, if you don't perform, you'll be up for trade discussions. Like, I thought Brody Kemp had an okay year, solid year, and even he was up for trade discussions.
Yeah.
And he was in contract. So this is the
no
way.
One's safe.
Mate, it has to be that way.
That's good though. That's no longer accepting, Grant Thomas for all of his weird and wonderful things that he says. The one thing I love that he always says is that there are some people in the premiership business and there are some people that are just happy playing football. And that's how if Brody Kemp, who had not a bad season, who's contracted, potentially on his way to St Kilda, and maybe had Sauce come to Carlton 2 or 3 days sooner, it could have been a reality. You just don't know. So I think that's definitely how you know that you're leaning more towards the premiership business than happy just to be playing footy.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kanga TV, what can we expect from Kanga TV? It's a great name. I wonder how you got the name.
One of us said Roos TV, the other one said Kanga TV, and here we are. Look, I think there's definitely lots of different things I want to explore and play around with. Granted, I haven't really thought much of this through. The one thing that I can tell you is that I really want to get fans involved. I think every club has their quirks and all their bits and pieces. I think for North, we are the smallest club in Victoria and one of the smallest clubs in the competition, but we have such a rich history. We have a very, very loyal supporter base, and I think there's so many interesting stories. I mean, I've been publicly involved with the club since 2011, which I launched my blogs. That was 13 years ago. But particularly over the last, I'd say 18 months to 12 to 18 months, when I joined Further North as the co-host at the start of the year, and I joined the Besties, and I've met so many people in the last 12 months, and the stories and the connections that I've heard that people have that connect them to football is incredible. And those are the things that I really love. And obviously, we'll analyze and we'll deep dive and we'll take one sentence that someone said or one piece of news and unpack it over 3 videos. But I think that what makes North so unique is everyone has a really interesting story. And that's something that I want to unpack. I mean, my story is interesting, but it's nowhere near as interesting as most of the other people that I've met. So I'm really looking forward to shining some light on those as well. And I think as well, it's been a really dark, 6-7 years as a North supporter, and I try and take the positive outlook as best as I can, because for me personally, that's the only way I can get through it. I'm so obsessed with football. I'm sitting here, I'm so bored that I have to start a YouTube channel to fill my need, throughout the off season. But
Not
it's
have
true.
to.
I mean,
You get to.
I've done it. I get to. You're right.
You
You're
get
right. I
to.
get to. And being so in love with football and it being my biggest passion in life, and then pairing that with a club that won 3 games this year and 3 games last year, and only 2 of them in Melbourne this year and 1 last year, and I saw 1 the year before. I mean, how else do you get by it? Because I go to every game in Melbourne and I travel a little bit as well. It's like, how do you really get through it if you don't think positively and you sort of try and find the light where it might just be all darkness? So that's kind of what I want. And I'm hoping that the more I can find the light, the more I can help other people find the light, and the stronger the club will be able to be to move forward as we start to move up the ladder.
Yeah. Well, I think you're getting in at the perfect time. How many games did you win this year?
3.
perfect. Literally, you're starting from the bottom, and you're just documenting the journey to the top. That's the journey. So good luck. I'm sure we will have you on the channel here when we play North Melbourne, and all the best with everything, and we'll chat to you soon.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Johnny Holden. Hello, mate.
Hey, buddy. How you been doing?
Yeah, good. How it has been? It's too long, mate. I miss you.
Yeah, I've been working. Working up in Ballarat. So by the time I get home at 7:30, 8 o'clock every night. So I'm catching you delayed, not live anymore. So I've got to make a living somehow.
That's it, mate. What have you made of the last 2 weeks? Or maybe just off season in general.
Long,
Yeah.
boring. If it was up to me, I'd have, as I said on the Blue Abroad channel, I'd play everyone twice and have a 40-week year and just have 12 weeks off and just go from there. But realistically, no, it's been good. I mean, it's the whole draft thing's been good. Happy with what we picked up with the number 3 pick. Really excited with that because that could be like another Sammy Walsh, another Bontempelli, Dustin Martin type player that could be a 10 to a 15-year Carlton player, that could set us up. I think we're a lot smarter as an industry in finding talent and hanging on to talent. You've said it, Josh and I say it all the time. Nick Austin, until he gives us reason not to trust him, I will trust him. I will trust him with my life as far as picking a team goes. He has not let us down. He has not given us a bad player since he's got there. So I have complete trust in him. He's got a plan and he's sticking to it. So until he gives us reason not to, I don't think any of us should question him. I mean, who are we? I mean, we're supporters. We love the club. Don't get me wrong, but this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
We can all sit there and go, "Oh, we should have got Dan Houston." Blah 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 blah. He was never going to be the right fit. He's not what we need. He's we would like to have him, but he's not what we need. We need a few players, and so far he's gone and got what we need, not what we want, what we need, and that's been the good thing. Hopefully, this number 3, whether it be Draper, whether it be is it Finn O'Callaghan, or Finn something or other,
Sullivan?
Finn O'Sullivan. Either one. I mean, I think they're going to be worthy acquisitions to the club, and I don't expect them to be Nick Dacos's and come on in round 1 next year. But if we can get something like a Sam Walsh type player out of them, sky's the limit. I mean, that could be that missing piece in the midfield that we're missing. I'm a massive Matty Kennedy fan. Love Bam Bam, but unfortunately for him, we've got 4 Bam Bams in front of him in Cripper, Chera, Hewitt, and Walsh. 5 don't fit in the 4. And the only way he was ever going to get a game was injury or suspension to one of them. So, I wish him all the best until he plays us. Same as Owies. Like Owies is a great player, but unfortunately, he just happened to be out of contract at the wrong time. I think if Durden or Motlop or one of those boys were out of contract this year, I think one of them might have been out the door in front of him. But it's just unfortunate. You're saying before, like we've got 17 players out of contract next year. Tell you what it does do, it makes them pull their finger out, especially this year, knowing that Owies and Matty Kennedy were much loved players. It's going to pull their finger out and go, if I don't pull my socks up, I'm out the door. They're not going to hang on to me because I had a say-so year. If I don't perform, I'm out the door. As you said, like Kempy, the last minute, Kemp was almost gone. And he's still got a year's on his contract. So
And he was all
nobody,
right. He was like, he wasn't, I wouldn't say he had a bad year. I thought he was okay.
I don't think Carlton were ever going to offer him up. I think someone asked the question, and as always, you're going to go, okay, what are you going to give me? And if they had gone and done something stupid and gone, look, we'll give you pick 12, you're crazy not to, you know. But if they're going to come at you and go, I will give you pick 47, you just go, keep dreaming, you know, off you go, off you trot. So you're always going to ask the question whether they had any interest in it or not. I mean, you're going to ask the question because, you know, sometimes people in desperation will throw a silly offer and you'd go, really? You're going to give us a pick 12 for him? Fuck, take him. So, you know, dumber things have happened. I mean, who would have thought we would have got pick 3 from West Coast? But they gave it to us and we're
Well,
going to
that's the
take it.
thing. So I said it earlier. I don't remember having a top 5 pick when the team that I watch has played finals football. Like usually I'm used to having a top 5 pick or top 10 pick when we're rebuilding or, you know, when we're at the bottom.
Yeah.
So this is a really unique position. And I guess the opportunity was taken. And, you know, whether I don't know what percentage that we were actually in for the Houston deal, but Nick Austin seemed to have played it perfectly. He sort of let the talk go about Houston and just sort of let it drift this way. And then once that Barris deal fell through, it's I mean, I'm just guessing, but it just seems like he pounced. And maybe he was always going to ask the question for 3, but yeah, I'm just what's going to happen? I don't know. We'll find out in 10, 15 years when pick 3 is retired or 20 years, whatever. But at the end of the day, there was clearly like an intention and it followed through, and only one club gets pick 3 in the end, and that was us. So
Well,
fair
that's
play.
it. You know, I just think that with how deep this draft is, I mean, there's no standout Harley Reid or Nick Dacos in it, but from all accounts, there's not much gap between pick 1 and pick 6 or pick 7. So we're gonna get someone decent. Like I said, I have complete faith in he'll get someone that we want, and someone that we need. And I just think there's a few other things that might happen. There's talk about Granger Barras. Like I would offer him at best a rookie deal because of his injuries. I don't know if I want to go down that Silvani recruitment motto of if we can get an injured player at a bargain basement and then they get their body fit, we've got a bargain. We've picked up a good player and we got him for nothing. That didn't work last time, and I don't think it works well. So yeah, I don't know. Once bitten, twice shy. They might look at him, but as a rookie, then it's not concrete, if that makes sense. I mean, if you put him on the
Yeah.
book as a contracted player, and you're stuck with him. At least as a rookie, it's half payment, I think, and you can move the pieces around a little bit easier with him and without him. I'd like to see us get a good goal sneak. I was seeing before there was a young kid from Hawthorn, a good young forward that doesn't get a chance at Hawthorn because they've got such a dominant small forward line. So someone like that might be a good acquisition as a rookie. Worst case, even on the VFL list with the option of putting him in the mid-season draft. So no, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it'll be an interesting off-season, but yeah, it'll be a long one, unfortunately. But yeah, I hate this time of the year. Fucking hate it.
Bounce the ball, you know?
Like I like cricket, but when it comes to football, there's 95% of my love is football and 5% is everything else. And cricket's in there. And I'm just I could watch it all day long. You know, so yeah, I don't know. When people go, oh, you'd get burnout watching football all the time, you just go, maybe you would. but there's, a couple of 100,000 of us at Carlton alone that wouldn't.
Mate,
but
I get it sometimes. I mean, sometimes I need a day or two, like maybe 3 days. Like people will say, "Oh, you're going to take a break," and it's like, well, yeah, but I'm checking the news every day anyway.
well, that's
I'm
what Tuesday,
seeing,
Wednesday, Thursday is.
yeah, it's like, what's rest? Like, it's not
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm with you. I love it. I'm definitely obsessed with it. But I mean, I think a lot of people in the world search for something to care about as much as what we care about Carlton. So
Yeah, well, this is true. Or about football in general. I mean, like that lady before was Marnie. Like she's sort of starting where we were when you first started the
yes,
channel. Like
identical.
Carlton at the bottom, Kangas at the bottom, 3 wins. It was us in 2018, 3 wins around that sort of same thing. I see a lot of us in the Kangas camp at the minute, going back to 2018 sort of time frame. They can only go up. They can't lose anymore. And I think Clarko's got them in the right
Oh
in
yeah.
the right direction.
I reckon
Um,
they'll improve a lot quicker than maybe what we did, because
Yeah.
that's the one thing we didn't quite get it. Maybe if we didn't get a chance to do it, or it just didn't happen for whatever reason, but we didn't quite get those premiership players in to help build that
No, we
culture,
cut too deep.
you know?
No, we cut too deep, and I think it was a lesson for every other club out there that if you go cutting too deep,
Yeah.
and have no experience, how do you learn? How do your kids learn? And I think a lot of teams out there have learnt through our mistakes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think with so many mistakes we've made as a club in the past 20 years, we're leaders as always. We're always at the forefront, but unfortunately, it's for everybody else's benefit. Carlton stuffed up by doing A, B, and C. Let's not go down there because they were the mighty and they had fallen. Let's not go down that track. And I just see other clubs when they go to do it, they get pulled back with that whole no, don't go down that track. Carlton did that, and look what happened to them. So I don't know. I just think we're in a really, really good place off field. A few years ago, everyone was getting on Luke Sayer's case. Oh, he's this, he's that. But honestly, since the guy's got there, he's done nothing wrong. He's off field, we're stronger than we've ever been. On field, we're stronger than we've been in the last 20 odd years. We have direction. We have belief for the first time in a long time. This year, yeah, I mean, I saw people blaming him when he was on holiday. It was his fault that we lost these games. And it's like, are you serious? Like, what was he going to do?
Mate,
Like, pull on a pair of boots and go out? And we were just looking for someone to blame because we were losing. It was the bobblehead. It was the jumper. It was,
it was the collars.
it was the president being on holiday. It was anything that we could point the finger at and throw enough shit at it. If it stuck, that was why we lost. And the cold hard reality was injuries is what killed us. I mean, I listen to SEN all day, every day when I'm at work. And every single expert, every single footballer, every critic said the same thing. You cannot have that many injuries to key players at once and not destroy your season. You can have injuries to key players over a season, but not in 4 or 5 weeks like we had it. No one has a spare ruckman, centre half forward, and full forward just sitting in the VFL ready to come in. You might be able to cover one, you may be able to cover two, but you can't cover 4 and 5 like we lost. And then we're playing guys who were injured, like Wiedering with his thighs, only because there was no one else to play. And, I hate saying it, like you were saying it before. You hate using injuries as an excuse, but sometimes it's a reality.
Yeah.
And it was just unfortunate that it happened in a 6-week block. And yeah, it killed us. And I think it might have I don't think it was the whole blame, but I think a lot of it also flattened a few people where you could see players just drop their heads and just go, oh, fuck, we're not going to win. We don't have him. We don't have him. Who's going to stand up? So, no, I'm looking forward to the pre-season like I do every year. Just wait to see what bit of coal turns into a bit of a diamond over the rough through summer. And, no, it'll be good. We'll go to the training days and sit in the outer and just rub our hands together and go, oh, I can't wait to see him go. Look at him play. And we got no idea.
So happy to be back.
It's just like, it's just a faith thing. But hey, they'll suck us in every year, and we'll
Absolutely. Johnny, good on you,
All right,
mate. I will
enjoy.
speak to you soon.
All right, mate. Take care. Go Blues.
Go Blues. Got a few things I want to play. Firstly, I've just seen an update. Matt Kennedy lifting the lid on his exit from Carlton. So maybe we can watch that. This will be interesting.
Exit from Carlton. Unwanted by the Blues, the 27-year-old will have extra fire in his belly after being traded on Wednesday night.
Swapping the navy blue for royal blue.
How's it look on me? All right.
Matt Kennedy arrives at the kennel with a point to prove. Just this time last week, he had his first Zoom meeting with Luke Beveridge. His move secured on trade deadline.
I've always sort of played with a bit of that chip on my shoulder, I guess, and that'll be no different here.
The 27-year-old, one of only 3 Blues to play every game this year. His last, subbed out before half-time in the finals loss to Brisbane.
Wish I could have maybe reacted a bit better in the moment after getting subbed out, but I think that's just that sort of competitive nature from most people, I think, to be frustrated.
2 days later, and despite a Carlton contract, he was told it'd be best to look elsewhere.
We had those honest conversations and where they seen the club going forward and my position in the team probably didn't align. So I'm grateful that they thought of me enough to maybe tell me to explore.
Named the Blues' best clubman, Kennedy also had a top 10 BNF finish, now to fight for a spot in the Dogs midfield.
I'm not coming here expecting to be gifted any games, and I think Bevo made that clear, and I really appreciated that honesty from here.
Tim Membry.
Richard nailed it. All class. That is elite. I think it's good from the club as well. It seems like we were dealing in good faith. And I think we have done that quite a few times over the last few years. And we've put the player first. So wish him all the best. I truly do. I hope he goes very well. He's going to battle for a spot in that midfield as well with Bont and Libba and Treloar and the like. But Riley Sanders, but he'll be just fine, Bam Bam, and I'm sure we'll cheer him on when we play against him. Then Johnny Holden was talking about us, and he touched on something that I saw Nathan Buckley touched on with us as well. So just for some context, Johnny was saying, a lot of the experts have all spoken about injuries and continuity. So let's just listen to what Nathan Buckley said.
Carlton. Blues. Speaking of which, the Blues have re-signed Jacob Wiedering for 6 years this morning, a 6-year extension to the end of 2031. Not a huge surprise, but nevertheless an important player to lock down. Was it list health or lack thereof that got them this year, or something bigger and more concerning than that?
Well, I think they weren't able to maintain continuity amongst their playing group. So whether the conditioning of their players was not to the point that they were able to maintain that continuity. They had to go too deep into their list. There was too many changes made too often in regards to availability. Right when Tom De Koning was coming hard and was ready to tear the competition apart, he got injured, which wasn't an overuse injury. It was obviously it was foot, wasn't it? Yeah. So, I mean, getting him right is going to be a really important part. They don't lack for talent at all. They do not lack for talent. They just need to. And I'm really surprised and impressed that they've been able to handle their downturn in the back third of the season to miss out, or to sort of end up sort of getting bundled out pretty easily in the first week of finals. The old Carlton would have had people coming from everywhere saying this isn't good enough. So I think it's a credit to Brian Cook. It's a credit to Luke Sayers and the board and the leadership at the top and Vossi to be able to, calm the farm. I reckon they've been able to manage and the constituents have come into the fold. It really gives them a really good chance in the next 12, 24 months to have a crack at and get a clean run at what they can make of what is a really talented list, add to the mix a little bit and then see where they can go.
They are perfectly stable. They have absolutely no excuses next year.
I'm very impressed with what they've been able to do off-field as much as on-field. There is some growth that we can see. As I said during the year, I think they can do the basics better. If I'm saying in the preseason, 2 focuses for Carlton, do the basics really well, do a heap of ground level, a heap of skills work, a heap of fundamentals, and just do the basics really well. And the second part is get your players rock hard and fit and ready to go so that they can endure the season and manage them well throughout. You do those 2 things, I think you can see them pop.
Fitness fundamentals. I like it. Do we look at Charlie McCartan? I don't know anything about Charlie McCartan personally. What do I think about the Denver Granger Barras? I don't know much about him either. In theory, you could replace him. You could replace Sam Durden on the list with Denver Granger Barras. Could happen. I'm not too sure. Debbie, hello. So where's the competition for list spots? If Hewitt and Chera drop off, who's coming in for them now that Kennedy's gone? Same with Motts and Durden. Well, if Hewitt and Chera drop off, well, I mean, Cooper Lord, we want games into him. I don't know why we're assuming they're going to drop off. As for the small forwards, well, there's a lot of them there. Zach Williams is a forward now. We want games into Ashton Moyer. Jack Silvani's back in. So we'll see. I think once we get the draft done, I think it's very hard. It's very easy to judge right now because it's like, oh, well, we've lost Kennedy and Owies and there's no replacements. Well, that's because we haven't drafted yet. So let's just see what happens. Need Buckley as an assistant. Now that would be elite. That would be elite. Oh, yes. You got Binns, who everyone wanted to see play. Doc's back playing, forward mid. I think there's plenty. I want to play the Elijah Hollands review. Maybe I'll quickly get Lucinda in. Lucinda, hello.
Hello. How are you?
What's happening? Good. How are you?
Well, I'm good. Kind of in a psych ward at the moment, so I'm very naughty, but I don't care. Nothing's going to keep me away from you guys. Don't worry, I'm totally fine. Long story, I can tell you more off camera.
Sure. What have you got in your mind
basically-
from the Carlton point of view? How have you seen the
Okay.
trade period?
Well, I've only seen it through your content, Terry, and I'm way behind. So essentially, I'm guessing from what I got was we're happy that we didn't get Houston because who gives a whatever. We're getting the Twins no matter what, so that's a relief. So explain to me, please, as if I have no history of this draft period. How do we get the Twins and all of these fancy things that Dan does? Footy is like all excited about. Like, explain pick 3 to me and why it's such a heist in a way, please.
The Twins is not a worry. The Twins should not be a worry. Basically, what happens is there are certain picks. Think of them less as picks and think of them more as points. And we
Okay.
basically just need to make sure that the picks that turn into points, we have enough of them to cover for a potential bid for the Twins. Long story short, we're getting the Twins. No problem.
Yeah,
No question.
because of
We can tick that one off. And then
Yeah.
pick 3, I guess they've identified someone who they think is going to be in that top 3 conversation that they want to
Okay.
get into the team. And
Yeah.
they did what they needed to do to get that 3rd pick.
Well, that was very good for them and maybe decades of benefit for us. So that cheers me up. And yeah, I mean, it was really cool. I was looking through some fan cams to cheer me up. and I was watching the Hawthorns one, and I'm like, well, okay, this is a bit scary because this happened, that happened, and Lord and so and so. I was like, well, what do we need to do? We just need to like have like littered hypotheticals that can come true at any given time. Let's just get like a three-peat somehow by fluking that next time rather than who debuts. So yeah,
So you
still
tried to
noticing.
you tried to cheer yourself up by watching the Hawthorn fan cams. That was that's I think if I wanted to cheer myself up, I don't know if that would be the first one I go to.
Well, to be fair, I had watched how like Charlie had hurt himself like very over and over again. And I'm like, has he done his left knee and he just knows people are talking about his foot?
Yeah.
Because it actually looked like he was going for the knee. We obviously know he's fine now, or at least I hope fine now. But I'm really analyzing. Sometimes on at least that phone, because well, this phone, I guess, you can zoom in a bit, and it was just the repeated like, okay, I'm up. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And just like the gestures. I mean, in real time, it's like, oh yeah, his ankle's fucked, whatever. But it looked like for a moment the left knee was a problem. I'm like, oh, here we go again. But no, to all intents and purposes, well, I've seen him train, not finish training since then, but he was at least on his feet. So I know that he's fine, and he's got appearances all over the country. So something must be good.
Yeah. It's gotta have a
Yeah.
big preseason. Who's a player before I let you go, who is like one player in particular that you think, wow, this preseason is just so important for him?
Oh, it's a tie between Ashton and Billy, I think.
I like it.
Because Lord is already confident, you see, like he's already sort of, I can do this. So it's kind of like a when will Billy debut? Because Ashton's gonna sort of assume that if he works hard enough, he'll get there. But then we've got all the draftees coming in, including the twins. I mean, I don't know, I don't know that just because we've got the twins that they even play in the first year. But that's why I said during the dreaded Hawthorn fan cams that well, do you let them be VFL first for a lengthy time? Because last time I checked, Harry didn't, actually debut for a few years when he was drafted. So there's this really uncanny sense that, yay, sweet, they got drafted in 2024. Next year we've got them. It's like, you do know that we've got a full squad and a squad, I meant to say, and a VFL is like, they have to earn it, right? And there's the rookies. It's like the Domakui thing. Hurry up and debut him. He is good. He needs help. And there's a reason why he's still there.
Yeah.
Just let him prove it. And if it's not to be, move him on so the poor guy can start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll follow that one closely. Hopefully
Yeah.
you're feeling better, and we'll see
I'm
you
feeling
soon.
fantastic. I'm feeling fantastic. I'm feeling good. It's just a matter of process before I'm out of here. And thank you for not being too worried, because like at the end of the day, I'm in my room, bugger them. I've made it look
Well,
like I'm not anywhere other than it's a hotel, okay? And it might as well
okay.
be.
Wait, so where are
Thank
you?
you know what? St. Vincent's mental health ward. But for respite reasons, let's just put it that way. I'm fine. I'm
Okay.
feeling really good. I think I've been here for over a month without realizing it. So if that has gone really, really quickly, then you know that I'm feeling fine. And I've been
Well,
manifesting all the time. So
we need you to have a strong preseason so we can have you on the fan cams 2025.
yeah. And how about you? When are you going to Thailand? You said it was a new tradition, mister.
Yeah. I'm flying out on New Year's Eve during the day,
Oh,
and then
awesome.
January 1, I get to the camp, and then I come home on the 18th of February. So
Well, there you go.
I'll
You've just given me the dates that I want to be in Middle Earth. Perfect.
love it.
I'll try and synchronize a New Zealand trip with a friend, and then that way we'll both be blue abroad.
Love it.
You've got to think outside of the room.
That's true.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Terry.
Wish you all the best, Lucinda. Take care.
You too. See you later.
See ya. So, I want to watch this video. Was just like under the radar. It was Elijah Hollands recapping his year, And I think because trade period happened and we had so much going on, it just kind of, went under the radar, like I said. So let's take a look.
At the end of the 2024 season, Lige, your first campaign in navy blue. What did you make of the whole experience?
Yeah, I've loved it. Obviously got given a great opportunity 12 months ago to come across this massive footy club and play in front of this great fan base with these great boys. So it's been a great 12 months. It's had highs and lows individually with performance team, with performance. So had some time to reflect, but I've absolutely loved my time.
Playing in some of those big games, I think you played in front of 4 or 5 80,000 plus crowds this year. What was it like, that thrill to run out in front of them?
Yeah, it's a different ball game. Running out in front of, obviously, a few times in front of 80,000. And then a passionate 80,000 as well in some of those home games that we had. So, to be able to run out onto the G most weeks is a dream come true. That's the footy you want to play with. That's the footy you think of playing when you're growing up as a kid. So to be able to do that this year was really exciting, and keen to have more of it next year.
Wasn't just your first season at the club, it was also kind of your first consistent season at AFL level, because you kind of bit in and out of the side up at Gold Coast, off the back of injuries when you were 17 and that kind of thing. What did you make of just the whole AFL season experience?
14 games in 3 years to 22 in 1 year is a better feeling. So, to play consistent footy this year, or consistently in the AFL side, is great. So talking to the club last year, that was the opportunity to come across and try and cement my spot in the AFL side, and to be able to play consistent AFL footy this year has been great. The coaches have backed me and the players have backed me in to come across and show my stuff, and I feel like I've been able to do that to an extent. But looking forward to bigger and better things next year.
What about the role you played? You kind of swapped and changed a few different times, I guess. Where did you find settled yourself, and what did you find about your spot in the team?
It was nice to still be flexible and be able to give the side some options in terms of some different roles throughout the year. So a little bit of most of my time spent across half forward, a little bit of time inside, and then a small portion on the wing. So that's something I still want to be able to give the coaches. But obviously spending most of my time across half forward, and then swapping into the guts for brief periods has been great. It's footy, it's a role I played as a kid. To be able to get back across and play a role that feels natural to me has been great. Then hopefully over the next few years can start to really cement it.
What about Vossi, mate, and his impact on you with your first season under him?
I love working with Vossi this year. I think the first thing he said to me when I got the trade last year was just that it was a fresh set of eyes, and I came across with a clean slate and I just get to work hard and show my stuff, and that stayed true. And obviously started with pre-season and felt like I was able to knock over a strong summer. And then the relationship that I built with Vossi this year has been great. He's given me some freedom to play a role that I think works for me.
I think you mentioned earlier this season, before the campaign started, that Cripper took you under his wing and said, come with me, young fella. Was that still the case during the season?
Love working with Rick this year. Obviously, as I said at the start of the year, he grabbed me over the summer, and I got to learn under him, which is great. Obviously there's a few boys trying to get some time off him. So to get another off season and pre-season this year with Crip and the other leaders and the boys is only going to be beneficial for me and for the rest of the group. And it starts in a few weeks with off season training, but then we'll hit the summer hard.
Little known fact, but you actually played with your brother this year.
Yes.
How was that?
No, we've loved it. Living together, playing together. For us, obviously, when we were growing up from 4 years old, it was what we both wanted to do. And then I got the opportunity to do it at Gold Coast. Ollie got the opportunity to do it here, which is great in itself. You just think about the 4 and 6 year old running around wanting to play footy, and then they both get to do it. Is pretty surreal, but then obviously the opportunity to do it together is even more special. And I think we said at the start of the year that everyone's story is different. Like there's brothers that have played together, and everyone's story is different, and we'll just write our own one and see what it looks like. And it's a good start.
You're looking forward to maybe speaking about a bit less going forward, because I feel like every chat you've done this year has been about playing together.
I know. Everyone's just asked me this year if I play with Ollie, which is a different. It's just there's been a lot of it. So hopefully next year they can just separate us a little bit.
Reflecting back on, I guess this time 11 months ago, 12 months ago when this chat goes out, trade period, obviously everything that went down. I guess how do you look back on that time, and then was it kind of the year that you expected it to be in your first season at Icon Park?
I don't think I really knew what to expect coming across. Obviously, at the time, was just worried about working hard and trying to earn the respect to the lads. But yeah, I don't think I could have predicted what it was. Obviously, you hear about the fan base, you hear about the weight of numbers that they carry, but you can never actually expect what it's going to be. And yeah, the support that we've been shown this year, the support I've been shown this year by the fans has been fantastic. And we'll look to give them a better show next year.
If 2024 was a clean slate for you, you obviously got this body of work now that's under your belt. I guess when do you start to cast your mind forward to what 2025 might look like for you at the footy club?
Pretty early. So we'll take the first few weeks to be able to reflect on the year that's gone, and there's things that we should be really proud of as a footy club this year that we can look back on. There's things that we'll look back on and know that we could have done better, and you've got to take the learnings from those. But then you start to look forward to what can I do, what can the group do to get that 1-2% better so we can come back next year and not be in the same position and keep playing deep into September.
What does the off-season look like for you?
Family dispersed all across the country. So you got to try and give time to everyone, a bit of time in the country, a bit of time in Sydney. But yeah, you don't really get too much time off there. So we'll be back into it pretty soon.
Good stuff, Matt.
Thanks, Critter.
Love it. Absolutely love what I heard there from him. What's his status? Just remind myself. Where's he at? He had a fucking brilliant year. Check this out. So he's 22. Born on the 25th of April, 2002. 36 games. Well, he had a brilliant year. I don't know where you all sit with it, but like, what did you expect from him? And where do you think he's at? I think personally, looking back at his year now, that was kind of like best case scenario. Played 22 games. What did he kick? Kicked 17 goals. Averaged about 18 touches. If he, just has another great preseason, he could be a really key part of what we do. And I kind of hope he shaves his head. Someone said it in the chat. New haircut. I mean, I don't really mind what he does with his hair. But I've seen him with the shaved head. I think he looks killer with the shaved head. Pommy. Elijah's filth. Such a talent. Yeah, he is. He is. Just realized Elijah looks like a mini Earl Spalding. Okay. Well, that's what he looks like. Earl. I don't really remember what Earl Spalding looked like. Okay, must be a recent photo of Earl Spalding. Okay, I can kind of see it. Like, sort of. Okay, I can see it very clearly now. Oh, wow, that's a great call. Here, let me share my screen. Yep, love it. There's another photo here. Yeah, this one. Let me zoom in. It's a good call. Who said that? Jay. It's a really good shout. Had a good year. Expected a bit. I think he delivered from my lack of footy knowledge. He's a POD kicking on both sides. Yeah. Had no idea what to expect. He was exceptionally good. All Australian in 2025. Lock it in. Be massive. We knew he had ability. It was just if he could knuckle down and perform, which he did. Let's hope he doesn't get the second year's blues and gets complacent. He seems to have leadership potential. Yeah, what I love about his story is just redemption. And I think he had his moment where he was a bit scared that maybe he had pissed it up the wall, and to have an opportunity to rectify it and take that opportunity, I'm hoping that it holds him in good stead for the rest of his career, and it reminds him how quickly it can all be taken away. So, Pommy, no one talking about the major one, and I'm super excited in VFL is Matt Carroll. Mate, jump in if you're free. Tell us about Matt Carroll. I also want to do, I reckon we can do it with those of you that are here in this chat right now. I found a quiz that I want to do together where we name, wait a minute, let me share this tab. Do you think we could name every 200 game player for Carlton in 10 minutes? I think we can do it. In fact, I reckon we can do it in like 6 minutes. So let's go. We need every player that played 200 or more games. So Bradley, I know that one. Murphy. Silvani. There's 2. Cripps, good call. Oh, okay. This one's obviously a quiz that was before Cripps. Cade Simpson. That means there's 37 of them. Kernahan. Bradley. Yeah. Go. Walker, he played 200 games. He did. Gibbs. Played 231. Nichols. Dool. Yeah. Lappin. He played 200 games? No, he didn't play 200 games. Koutafidis. Yeah. Judd? No. Sexton. Mackay. David Mackay and Andrew Mackay. Oh, Murphy Mackay. Harms? No, he didn't play 200. Houlihan, maybe? Good call. Heath, Scotland. Brett Radden. Whitnall. I've got Jezza. Got Whitnall. Cade Murphy. I did Mark Murphy. Did I do Mark Murphy? Yeah. Yeah, I did Mark Murphy. Of course I did Mark Murphy. Okay, this is obviously old because Murphy's on 285 here. I didn't realize. Madden. Southby. Peter Dean. Dominator. That's Desi English. No. Dominator is Hunter. Dominator. Hello, Connor. Good mate. Tommy Alvin. Rod Austin. Wow. Fraser Brown. No. Jono. Who's Jono? Johnston. That's Dominator. That's right. Harms. I did Harms. There's no Harms here. He didn't play. Did Buckley? Jimmy Buckley? No. Sheldon? Nope. McConville? Nope. Did I spell that right? No. Balance. Harry Balance. I did John McClure. Nope. What about what was his name? Glascott. Who's Wolf? Sorry, but like who's Wolf? So that's That's Gleason. No. Camporelli. Scott Camporelli, but he made 233 games. I did Whitnall already. Ratton I've done. It's McClure with no McClure. Betts, nope. Frank Gill. It's a great shout. Southby. I think I've done Southby. Jones. We had 6 more. Milhana? No. Ange Christou? No. Marku? Nope. Josh Bootsma. Peter Jones? No. Okay. Oh, this is tricky. Gould? Nope. Nope. Ashman? Yeah, very good. Brown? Nope. Bradley? I've done Bradley. So wait, 243, 236, 211, 208, 204. Rod McGregor? Nice. Kerno? No. Sid Jackson? Nope. Klomp? Barry Armstrong? Ugh. Barry Armstrong, nice. Kia? Trevor Goff? 2 more. Silvani, I've done. Wait. Nope. Well, Ken Hands. Nice. Okay, 1 more. He played 243 games. Who is it? It must have been. Yeah, I didn't. It was also before Cripps' 200. I didn't realize how old this quiz was. Gary Crane? Carazzo? No. 243 games. It's got to be. Oh, it's McClure with an M. With a, yeah. Wow. So we do it in 5 minutes 24. It's not bad. It's not a bad effort. There is another one here, which is, it's a bit hectic. So if you don't want to do it, we don't have to. But what we're doing is, it's from last year. It's, can you name the Blues players that have won the following awards while playing for the Blues? Apparently it's going to take 10 minutes. And it's got like all these rising star nominees. I think we do it. Thoughts? I think we can do it. Let's do it. All right. I just need one person to say, let's do it. Let's do it. So we need, we need to write down every Brownlow medalist, Coleman medalist, Norm Smith, Lee Matthews, that's the MVP, rising star nominees, all Australians. So from, well, forever. Let's go. 10 minutes. Well, Judd. Okay, so it'll automatically put him in order. Okay, shit, Brownlow medalist. Well, Cripps. Oh, it's up to date. Great. All Australian. Well, I think if you type in Silvani, that'll come up. He's a 5-time All Australian. It's elite. See you, Debbie. Williams. Kernahan. Brownlow medalist Bert Deacon. Bradley. Kerno. Mackay. Who's our Norm Smith medalist? Who was the Norm Smith medalist in 1987? Wasn't that David Rees-Jones? Wasn't it David Rees-Jones? Yeah. Collis, Gordon Collis. Walsh, good call. He'll be there. Percy. That's Percy Jones, right? Percy Jones. Okay, nothing there. Dool. He was a Norm Smith medalist. And Wayne Harms. Wow. Sard. Okay, these are all Australians. Who's the 1961 Brownlow medalist? It was Bert Deacon. Gould. That's the one. That's him. James. John James. That's the one. Okay, Coleman medalist. That would be Fevola. 1961. That would be So who was the 1961 Coleman medalist? Gil Frank? No. Wiedering. Bev Coleman. Yeah, I've got Favola. Valence. Have I spelled that wrong? Who was the 1961 Coleman medalist? Camberelli. Oh, Jezelenko? No. No. Tom Carroll. Very good. All right, let's get into All Australians. Who was All Australian in 1992? All Australian in 1992. It's like I'm literally 1 year old at this point. All Australian 1992. Jezza. Sticks, Braddles. I've got them all. Sellers. Nope. Milhana. He was the All Australian 1992? Wow. All right. So we've got 6 and a bit minutes. All Australian in 1995. So like Ratton Bradley got him. Sexton. Was he All Australian in 1996, 1997? Was Christou All Australian? Christou was All Australian in 1995? I didn't know that. Justin Madden. I want to go through this because I'm learning a lot right now. Silvani. I've already got the whole team. The whole team. Whitnell. 2000 All Australian. 2011 Mark Murphy was All Australian. Oh, it's even got the squad members. Amazing. 99 and 2004. Well, Ku Beatties. Got him. All Australian in 99 and 2004. That would be David Teague? No, he won our best and fairest. Walker, Rising Star. We'll get to them. Mackay, no. Wait. Rising Star. Peter Dean. Who was All Australian in 1999 with Sauce? Madden. Matthew Allen. Nice. And who was All Australian in 2004? We finished on the bottom of the ladder. Oh, was it Nick Stevens? No. Houlihan, All Australian? No. Who was All Australian in 2004? I'm trying to think. Lappin? He's All Australian in 2004. All right, we'll get to that. 4 minutes. We need Rising Star nominees. God, there's heaps. Pickett. No. Shit. Rising Star nominees. We had heaps in 2017. Marchbank. Yep. Did Durden get one? Yeah, Corey Durden got one. Hollands. Ollie. Buckley. Nice. Walker, I've got him. We've got 3.5 minutes. Okay, this is really good. Cripps. Okay, yeah, Petrevsky. Seaton. Dow. Did Lockie O'Brien? Did Fisher? You know what? That says everything that Lockie O'Brien didn't get a Rising Star. 2017. Marchbank, Petrevsky, Seaton, Silvani, Kerno, Mackay didn't get one. Dick Honing didn't get one. Oh, Wiedering. No. Troy Bond. I've got Silvani. Cripps. It's already there. Massey. Okay, we're running out of time. Cunningham. Nice. That's the one. Okay, we're going to go back. 94 Rising Star. Brad Pierce? No. Oh. Watson? Bootsma? Nah. Carazzo? Nope. Oh, we're struggling. Whitehead? Nice. Bond? Did that. Carazzo? Greg? Oh, clutch. Cook? 208. Cruiser. Murphy Gibbs. Yep. Simpson. Cook. White. Adam White. Nope. Yaron. Garlett. Oh, yeah. Betts. Okay. Oh. Massey. Luke Livingston. Nah. DeLuca. Rising Star nominees. Bentic. Nice. Massey. Nope. Heath Scotland. Armfield. No. Kennedy. Nah. Oh, 6 more in a minute. Hume. Nice. Menzel. Oh, great. Okay, we're a chance. I need 4 more. $209. Betts. Nah. Davies. Nah. Carl Norman. Elite. Bootsma. Nah. Aaron Joseph. That's clutch. I need 2 more. 20 seconds. Wiggins. No. Oh. Dunn Joseph. No. 99 and 2003. Backwell. Oh, 9 seconds. Nah. 203. Oh, that's elite. That's elite. Well done. 3 seconds left. That's unreal. That is a great effort. Well done. Well done. There's actually a lot to unpack here. That was, I think we had 6 left with 60 seconds or something. That was very well done. I want to unpack some of this. So 92, we had 1, 2 All Australians. 93, we had Williams. Wow, Steve Silvani was All Australian. 94, 95, 4 years in a row. I've actually got Steve Silvani's 1999. Check this out. I've got Steve Silvani's 1999 All Australian tracksuit. It's a matching tracksuit with the pants. Check it. So that is like the prized possession at the moment. But I didn't realize he was a 4 in a row. 94. Which was the year that we lost? Yeah, Mark, I think so. Which was the year that we lost the granny? That was 93 to the Bombers. Then there was the bounce back. So Kernahan, Bradley, Williams, Silvani. There's 4 All Australians. And then 95, we have Bradley, Silvani, Kuda. Wow, didn't Didn't Ratton win the best and fairest in 95? And he didn't make the All-Australian team. Interesting. Kernahan was only a 2-time All-Australian. I didn't know that Ange Christie was All-Australian. I didn't know that. I didn't know Michael Sexton was a 2-time All-Australian. And I had no memory of Matty Lappin being an All-Australian at all. What did he do that year? Lappin, All-Australian. 2004. He took, okay, what did he do? Good on him. He was named on the interchange bench. Yeah, Ange Christou, 95. Ange and Kuda. I wanted to see 1995 AFL All-Australian team. This is the 95 All-Australian team. Christou, Silvani. Was anyone stiff that year? Was there somebody at Carlton that was like stiff not to have made it that year? Or did they play really well and just unlucky? Justin Madden, Kuda, Bradley. So 5 All-Australians with the coach being All-Australian as well. I want to see, all right, how do I go to 94? I go here. '94 Sauce. Greg Williams was the captain of the 94 All-Australian team. There's 4 of them there. And this was the year that we went out in straight sets, right? Andy Mackay was stiff in 95. Wow. This is 94. I want to see 93. We make the granny in 93. So Mackay, All-Australian. Williams, All-Australian. Bradley, All-Australian. Okay, so that's why Kernahan didn't get that many, because you've got Gary Ablett and Wayne Carey playing. Fair. Have a look at the forward line out. Modra, Ablett, Hocking, Gary Lyon, Wayne Carey with Craig Bradley on the half forward flank. Wow. That was fun. That was very fun. And that, I think, is us, guys. That's PA Fridays. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I will have a few more updates coming over the next few weeks. First, next few days, I should say. We will get stuck into draft content soon. I want to chat with Pommy and also Dylan Alexander about the draft. We'll cover all the picks. Still got news to come around Jack Carroll. Don't know where that's at, but I'll definitely have a video coming out when more news comes. As it stands right now, apparently there's some interest from GWS. I mean, that's a whole other fucking shit show of a conversation as well. So GWS apparently have shown interest. Let's see where that one plays out. I would have thought maybe 1 year, but he was behind Kennedy already, so I don't really know what his opportunity is going to be. But anyway, Jack Carroll updates to come. Sam Durden, there's got to be an update either way coming. Matt Carroll, there's got to be an update either way coming. So stay tuned for that. And then any other bits and pieces, any other pieces of information that come through, I'll update you all. Otherwise, have a great weekend and stay safe. Go Blues.